Hi there, Sandra here. I've decided to do a pop-up card, and this one's going to have a pop-up box in the centre of it. When you open the card, the box pops up. I decided to go for something a little fancier than you might expect. Because I've got a laser, I can do these beautiful, delicate designs. I had this design for a larger card years ago and decided I'll see how far I can downsize it because I didn't want a huge box on this. But it's coped with it really well. This happens to be a lightweight black card and it is very easy to cut. It gives nice clean cuts no matter what. But, you know, even then, to get that kind of clean detail is lovely. Now, as I said, I cut mine on the laser, but if you've got a Siser, Juliet or Romeo, you should be able to cut the same thing. You are just going to have to be very careful about your settings, but you can still do it. I've cut finer things than this before now. So I've got this funny little slit in here. I don't know if you can easily see it. And my box is going to go round like so, pretty obvious. This slit is going to poke out in the other direction. And I haven't put any score lines on the ends of it because it's such a small piece, it really doesn't need it. But you literally flip it to the inside and then fold it flat. And this is going to form another area where things can be stuck on. I've not decided what I'm going to stick on to this to decorate it. I'm just going to wait and see what it looks like when it's actually put together. So I'm going to fold this up and get some glue. Now I'm using a different glue today. I've put it into a small bottle because, you know, it's easier to control. And I don't know how good this glue is, so it's going to be a bit of a test. Give it a good press. So we have our box. These leaves are going to fold out. It's just going to become a very fancy looking box setup. And obviously I'm going to have a little gap there. The reason I cut it out of there was simply to avoid cutting another strip to put on the inside, just to see how well it worked and to see what effect I would get when I did it. Yeah, just a different way of doing things. It means you can make this in just one piece, which the simpler you can make it, the better. I've got my card base here. It's not particularly decorated. This is just a test that I was doing for something else, and yeah, I didn't throw the card out, so here we are. And what we're going to do is to fold this flat and we're going to put it in. Now, the easy thing about this is because I have kept this angled, what we can do, we can just put that angle against the inner fold like so. And it doesn't make any difference whether you've got these things folded out or in at the moment. That doesn't make any difference at all. I just need to put some glue on here and then close the card over it. Try and make sure that the glue goes almost, but not over the edges. That will give you the best result. Press it into there. Make sure it is sort of centered in that direction depending on where you want it. But I think that's around about right. And just close it over and press. Turn it over the other way. And you'll see that you've got exactly the same flap here. So you can do the same again. Press there. And if you have any sense at all, and you're not like me, you'll just leave it with something heavy over it for a few minutes to make sure that it's dry. And there we have our pop-up box. Pops up nicely. I could have put this down towards the front another couple of centimetres if I'd have wanted to. So this has worked quite nicely and I'm happy with the result. I think as a box opening on there, it looks pretty good. And what I need to do now is decide what I want to actually put in the box and where I want to put it in order to make this super duper special. So I've finished putting some flowers in here and I think it's come out quite nicely. I'm quite happy with the design. Now, I would say that it is quite difficult to put the flowers in there after you've constructed the box. It would be easier to put the flowers on while the box was still flat and then put the box in. And my flowers are slightly high, a couple of them, and will poke out from the side of this card. Now, I've put mine on little wire stalks and I used UV gel to actually stick it to the flowers. It works pretty well as a method of fixing little wires, but you don't have to use wire. You could use a paper, you could use acetate, use whatever you happen to like. You can also use fishing twine, but you want a fairly heavy one in order to support the flower head. And the one that I've got, I'm not entirely sure that my fishing twine is heavy enough to support it. Now, this is also a prime candidate for doing double-sided printing cuts if you're able to do those. And yeah, I'm very happy with the way that's come out. It's worked really nicely and I was able to do the card base all in one piece, which does make life a lot easier when it comes to putting things together. But as I said, put the flowers on before you fold it up because that was the most difficult bit of all. I put some coloured decorative paper behind the front here, but other than that I didn't bother filling anything else in. I just used the flowers. And yeah, I think that's rather pretty. I'm happy with the result. Hope you like it too. So this is just a concept card. This is not a finished card for you to go ahead and copy. And the bit that I'm giving you is the file for the box. And obviously you don't need a file for the base because that's just a folded piece of card. While I'm here, I thought I'd show you how I intend to store my pop-ups. Because pop-ups are something that you will probably want to do different versions of from time to time, and because they're not always easy to work out, I thought I would keep samples. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the sample into a binder, so it comes in its own little envelope here. So I have the card, I have the picture of the file itself, which is just a picture of the SVG, and then on the back here I've got a picture of the card itself that I made, so I know exactly what I've got in here. I've also put in the name that I've stored it under, which is Heart Box Pop-Up, so that I can then find the file when I need to, because quite often things have got similar names and you might think you put it under one name, you put it under something else. So if I write down what I've actually called it, I'm good to go. I can always find my file again. When you've got thousands of files, sometimes it can be hard to do that. So that's how I'm going to organise it, and I'm hoping that that's going to work well for me. I've gone for a really, really chunky binder because these things do take a fair amount of room. And if I get really stuck, I will end up cutting these in half and putting two, one on top of the other, stacking them vertically. I've got a bag sealer, I can seal, half size, whatever, and do it that way. So yeah, hopefully that will solve everything in the way of organisation for these things, and I'll be able to find out exactly what mechanism I want for what, because that is usually the difficult bit. Okay, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, give me a thumbs up, like and subscribe, and all that stuff, and I'll see you again soon. Take care now.